when I get the chance to break my heart 2 times, although me love you. I really, really love you. Nobody is not very cute. We love is like one for
It's the Suzette Speak Show live every Thursday and Friday. Yay! How you doing? I hope you're having a beautiful day so far. We are doing the thing here at Voice of the Caribbean. Big up to, first of all, Mikey Mike and Mo Millie. I enjoyed your wonderful program this morning. I was listening on the drive time. If you guys don't know who I'm talking about, in the morning, in the early morning, we have a wonderful combo, Mikey Mike alongside Big Mo. How you doing, Boo? Hey, she's here. I was listening. And you guys have me rocking and got me through my morning routine. So I appreciate. Listen, you know your radio station is the best when you, as a host, listen to the other people on the station and enjoy the content. Yes, big up everybody listening. This is Suzette Speak Show. I come on live every Thursday and Friday from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. Big up everybody watching online. You guys can follow me, Suzette Speaks 1Z 2Ts. And of course, I'm here to discuss hot topics. Yesterday, I had a wonderful guest. Big up the Save Our Lives program that will be tomorrow. It will be a 5K walk celebrating those warriors on the front lines who are helping to eradicate drug addiction, supplying a Narcan to folks in the community who need it. And I want to thank Mr. Chris Carvalho, who came through and was my special guest yesterday. If you missed the show, it was a very informative show about drug addiction and what we can be doing as a community to help support folks who are facing that. It doesn't only impact the person who is obviously the addict. It also impacts the family as well. So we are proud to support the Save Our Lives March tomorrow. That will be in Pompano. It's a 5K. It's free. It helps support the Robin Foundation. And I appreciate, again, Mr. Chris Cavallo coming by to talk about that with us yesterday. Now, today, I get to do my thing because I like to talk hot topics. And right now, the tea is hot, hot, hot. First of all, if you are following the Tokyo World Championships like me, if you're a woman or man after my own heart who enjoys the beautiful sights and sounds of the track world, well, I have been very much entertained and very much impressed by, the victories, the agonies of defeat, all of the drama that goes along with track and field. And this World Championships in Tokyo, if you haven't been watching, you should tune in. A lot of the replays are on YouTube, but I have been just enamored by the level of both professionalism and athletic prowess that I've been witnessing. And I'm looking at maybe not even half an hour ago, the 200 meter was just run, the finals of the two men's 200 meter, and crowned champion is none other than Mr. Noah Lyles. Mr. Noah Lyles, representing the United States, did come out on top. Yes, it's all over social media. We saw him defeated in the 100 meter last week. Greetings, everybody watching online. Hey, Mr. Anthony, how are you? Glad you're here. Thank you for stopping by. Those are the people that are watching on the app. If you have the app, shout out to you. If you don't, you can take Voice of the Caribbean 2.0 wherever you go. Yes, we are an app in the App Store. So whether you're an Android like me, or if you have an iPhone, you can download the app and take us with you in your car. Of course, we're on the HD2 dial, 101.5 FM HD2. Most every car has HD, and it's the sound. That's the difference. And it's a farther reach. We reach now from all the way in Key Largo up to Jupiter. Yeah, man, the family has grown. So 101.5 FM HD2, as well as simulcasting on regular FM in Broward County, 96.9 FM in Broward County and Fort Lauderdale. So Miami, big up yourself. Everybody listening all over. I love it. The South Florida region. I have some serious show topics today, but I do want to start with a few of the events that I have going on this weekend. I will be hosting none other than the Miss Louise Bennett Coverly Heritage Council's Styling 2025, which is an art and cultural presentation and fashion show on behalf of those who want to continue the legacy of the Honorable Louise Bennett. I will be emceeing the show, which is 2 nights. Tickets are still available. They are tomorrow, the 20th and the 21st. I will be at the Lauderhill Performing Arts Center as one of the co-MCs and moderators. I'm so excited. So if you don't have your tickets yet for the Miss Louise Bennett Coverly Heritage Council's Styling 2025, make sure you pick up those tickets because we will be there, Voice of the Caribbean, as well as, members of the community who love to celebrate our heritage in a big way. And again, this would have been Miss Lou's 106th birthday. It will be a fashion show, cultural show, lots of performances, artists, you name it, poems, musical presentations. I'm really excited. Again, it's really important right now at a time like this that we celebrate our heritage in a big way. So that will be on deck. Also, next weekend, I will be hosting in West Palm Beach Her 10, which is a women's conference in West Palm Beach on September 27th. You can follow me, Suzette Speaks, again, 1Z, 2 T's. If you're looking for an amazing day of empowerment for women, please do check it out. Her big conference in West Palm Beach, September 27th, all day, 8 a.m. I just looked at the schedule, all the way till 5, full of impactful speakers, and panel discussions. Can't wait. The Etiquette Conference is sold out. Big up Miss Jackie Vernon Thompson from the Inside Out School of Etiquette has me on deck. I'm thankful to be back emceeing at the Etiquette Conference. Again, tickets are no longer available, but I did want to shout her out. She does a great job. She teaches etiquette, and you can look her up from the Inside Out School of Etiquette. I have my own women's empowerment event. I'm so excited for it. Presented by yours truly. Wanted to do some work helping to empower and build resilience in my women who have been knocked down and don't know quite how to get back up again. That's what this particular event is, an empowerment event, October 12th. That's a Sunday in the city of Sunrise. You can look it up on Eventbrite. Suzette Speaks. Just look for my name. It is called The Healing Lab. Fix My Life. How to get back up when life knocks you down. If you're in that place or you know someone who's in that place, tag a sister friend. The information is on all of my social media, as well as Voice of the Caribbean, who is sponsoring it, co-sponsoring it for me. And I'm so grateful. Again, I've been doing this work of resilience and helping people build resilience for a while. And I'm just so grateful to have the opportunity to do it here again. And that'll be, again, the big day, October 12th. Suzette Speaks presents The Healing Lab. Ladies, get your tickets. They're only $35 early bird. We'll have some light bites, but we'll have some incredible speakers talking about how they went through some really difficult periods in their life and a real life blueprint from those who have survived, those who have reset and become stronger and come back better. That's what that event is about. So look it up, Suzette Speaks, on Eventbrite, and you'll be able to find that October 12th, 1 p.m., City of Sunrise. Can't wait. I'm back at you with the Babies and Bubbles brunch, October 23rd, and I'll be having them actually next week, the Miramar Hair, Peace and Hope, a 5K that I'm so grateful to be hosting just next month, but they'll be on next week, Thursday. Can't wait for them to tell their story about why they started this 5K. Miramar Hair, Peace and Hope 5K. And Jerk Festival coming around the corner. Listen, your girl's booked and busy for the next 2 months, so you have to keep up, right? That means follow us, Voice of the Caribbean, on all social media platforms, as well as Suzette Speaks, 1Z, 2 T's, Suzette Speaks with us, yes. So we're getting into some news today. I have some heavy lifting to do. I had to keep it light because I have some heavy lifting to do right now. I have some stories I have to cover. I always say I bring you stories that matter to me, because most likely if they matter to me, they often will matter to you. So I tried to give you news you can use, of course, but there's some stories out here that I have to touch on that make me very upset. And I feel like, especially if it were my daughter, my child, my son, I would want people to talk about it. So oftentimes in the news media right now, things go so fast. You see the headline and then we move on. But I just want to take some time to reflect on a couple stories today. Of course, everybody was talking about it, and I didn't get a chance, like I said, to talk about it yesterday because I had a special guest in studio. But I wanted to touch on the Jimmy Kimmel situation, late night talk show host here in the U.S., who is very popular, made some statements, some true statements, or repeated back what the president said, and was put on indefinite suspension. And there are many who are now calling out the fact that this is a threat to free speech. the First Amendment. And as a lawyer, I'm going to go over what the First Amendment is, because sometimes I think people say the First Amendment, and we don't really even know what the First Amendment is. So I'm going to do a little teaching today. I'm a former professor. It's all right. Step into my classroom, y'all, and we are going to break that down a little bit more, because the First Amendment of the United States Constitution guarantees certain things, and I think sometimes we need to be refreshed, hello somebody, on what it means. But let's get into it. First Amendment. In the text of the First Amendment, I'm going to read it to you, of this great Constitution that governs the law of the United States, the foundation, they call it the bedrock. We're going to be celebrating 250 years of the United States next year. 2026 will be 250 years old as a country. Very young compared to some other countries, but a wonderful landmark. And so I think it's going to be important, especially over the next few weeks. I'm going to go over some constitutional law with you so you can understand when people say, this is our constitutional right. It's in the Constitution. This is what the Constitution said. We have to understand what it means. So in the First Amendment of the Constitution, it says, quote, Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion, meaning that no governmental entity should make an official religion of the United States and say, because you are American, you should be a, quote, Christian or a Jewish faith person or a Muslim person, or you pick the religion. We have no establishment of any religion as the official religion of our country. That is in the First Amendment of the United States Constitution. And no entity, no governmental entity, and I'll read it directly, Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof. Meaning, as long as your religious practice does not hurt another human being or break any law outright, you should have the right within those bounds to practice your freedom of religion. Remember, when the United States was founded 250 years ago, there were folks who came over, we call them pilgrims, who were prosecuted or did not have the free exercise. In England at the time, the king at the time was able to establish a religion for everyone and said, this is what the country's religion is. Well, there were people who wanted to practice their own religion outside of what the king's mandate was. So they came looking for that freedom. So that is why we see it as the very First Amendment. It continues to say, Congress shall make no laws respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press, or of the right of the people to peaceably assemble and to petition their government for redress of grievances. So we understand that the First Amendment, as simple as it is, it protects several fundamental freedoms from governmental interference. Why am I bringing this up, Sue? Why are you bringing this up, Sue? Because we're going to talk Jimmy Kimmel. And he is a member of the media, or what we use the word, the press. So here we see the First Amendment protects several fundamental rights from governmental interference. You as a human being, you shall have the freedom of religion. It prevents the government from establishing a religion or interfering with the free practice of one's own religion. That's in the Constitution of the United States. It also grants freedom of speech, protects an individual's rights to express their views without the government censoring their views. Hello, somebody. Hey, wait, first of all, the Suzette Speaks show reflects the opinions of its guests, its hosts, me, and callers, and does not reflect the management. Opinions held in the show does not reflect necessarily that of the management or ownership of this radio station, and viewer discretion is advised. We are here talking the First Amendment because we're going to talk about Jimmy Kimmel. ABC, parent company is Disney, has indefinitely suspended late night talk show host Jimmy Kimmel, who is quite popular, for speech they deemed insensitive in the wake of the death of conservative activist and controversial figure Mr. Charlie Kirk, as well as commentary made about President Donald Trump. So I want to ask you, and you can feel free to call in and tell me how you feel. Should Jimmy Kimmel have been suspended? Or is this infringement of his First Amendment right? Now, you do have the First Amendment and the ability to say whatever you want. Now we're seeing, however, there are employers who are, like ABC, saying, well, you can say what you want, but if it affects us as your employer, we will take action, such as what ABC did and infringed, I don't know, some are saying, upon free speech and freedom of the press. Listen, the number here is 850-446-0562. It gets you right in touch if you want to call and tell me how you feel about this. 850-446-0562. We have a few more minutes before the break. We break at the bottom of the hour and then we come on back. But I just wanted to do a little teaching, if you don't mind. What is the First Amendment, class? What does it protect? The freedom of religion, first and foremost. Prevents the government from establishing a religion or interfering with the free practice of one's own religion, as long as it doesn't break any other laws or hurt any other person. Free speech, it protects an individual's right to express their views without government censorship. I'll say it again. Free speech protects an individual's rights to express their views without government censorship. All right, we're going to come back to that. No. Also in the First Amendment of the United States Constitution, we see language that provides for the freedom of the press. It safeguards the right of the media to publish and disseminate information without government control. I'll say it again. Freedom of the press implies from the First Amendment of the United States Constitution that there are safeguards around the press being able to publish, to say, to disseminate information without governmental control. And as I stated in the freedom, the last freedom granted in the First Amendment, that is the freedom of assembly. It guarantees the right of people to gather peacefully. That's called the right to protest. You have the right under the First Amendment to gather peacefully. Guarantees the people's right to gather peacefully. And then the right to petition, which is allowing the citizens of this country to ask the government to address its concern. They call that redress. We're asking for better roads. We're asking for better education. We're asking for, you can ask for whatever. But it guarantees the right of citizens. Remember, when the United States was founded 250 years ago, we had just left our founding fathers. There we go. I want to say forefathers and founding fathers together. All right. Our founding fathers knew of a government only for and by a monarch. Of course, we had seen some versions of what was a crazy idea, especially in Europe, of democracy, right? Within, the Greek Senate and those places. So those ideas of enlightenment, many, they say, came from Egypt, but I can't even get that deep right now. I only have a few more moments before our break. But once those ideas made it to Europe, let's say it, and there was a period of enlightenment. Remember, Europe had gone through something called the Dark Ages. You guys have to do some homework because we have to know the past to understand what's happening in the present. Because there are people who are looking at the circumstances we are living under and wondering, is history going to repeat itself? So we understand that in the First Amendment of the United States, Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press or the right for people to peaceably assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances, the right to freedom of religion, the right to freedom of speech, the right to freedom of the press, the right to freedom of assembly. So as we go through what the First Amendment actually says, because I invite you to Google it, I invite you to look it up. And when people are talking about the First Amendment, you should understand, what are they talking about? What does it actually say? And that's why I'm doing a little homework, because in the headlines, you will see that Jimmy Kimmel was just suspended for what he said. That's what ABC is saying. ABC pulls Jimmy Kimmel off air for Charlie Kirk comments after FCC pressure. Yep, that's according to the New York Times. I don't even know if I can, let me get a shorter article because we are almost at the break. You can call in and tell me how you feel about the suspension and the state of affairs in our country right now. 850-446-0562. Suzette Speaks 850 is the area code 4460562. Now we're starting to see Hollywood stars and other unions and fans erupt with outrage after ABC pulls Jimmy Kimmel off the air. And if you just are hearing about this story, just as a kind of overview, this is from NBC News, an article published on the 18th, yesterday. It says, article by Patrick Smith, Rebecca Cohen, and Rebecca Keegan. Hollywood stars, union union members and fans. I see you, caller. Hold the line. Let me see if I can squeeze you in right before the break. Hold the line, Carla. Carla, I'm bringing you on the air. Don't worry, I see you. Says that they are very upset and criticize Disney's ABC parent company for indefinitely pulling Jimmy Kimmel off the air live after pressure from the Federal Communications Commission over his comments about the death of Charlie Kirk. Kimmel criticized Republicans and the MAGA movement in his monologue on Monday night, and ABC announced that it was axing the show on Wednesday after FCC Chair Brendan Carr threatened to take action. Kimmel's suspension drew praise from President Donald Trump. This is according to the article on NBC News, which I'm reading, and fellow Republicans. But Hollywood, where Kimmel is popular as a frequent host of the Oscars and of the Emmys, leaped to his defense. We saw comedy icon, former late-night host David Letterman blasted the move at the Atlantic Festival in New York City on Thursday. He called it, quote, a misery in the world of somebody who is an authoritarian, maybe dictatorship. Sooner or later, everyone is going to be touched. Mr. Letterman continued, it's managed media and it's no good. It's silly. It's ridiculous. And you can't go around firing someone because you're fearful or trying to suck up to an authoritarian, a criminal administration in the Oval Office. This is just not how it works. That's David Letterman. Let me go to the Carla. Carla, hold the line. Let me see if we can bring you on. You have 2 minutes before the break. Carla, you here? Your opinion, please. You have a minute. Go ahead.
Actually deserve what he's facing, what he's going through.
Tell me why. Go ahead.
For a long time, they've been saying to tone down the rhetoric that the Democrat has been saying. What Jimmy Kimmel went and did was he went on TV and lied about the situation, saying that this gentleman or this person that killed Charlie Kirk was not a Democrat and that he was Republican. That's a lie. He was a Democrat. He was a part of Antifa. I mean, the news has been telling a lot of lies and spilling a lot of false information when it comes down to this thing that happened to Charlie Kirk.
All right, we have to take a break. I'm not cutting you. We have to take a break. I have a break at 1:30. I don't think that what you're necessarily sharing is factual. Can you hold on and I got to take a 2-minute break and come right back, or you want to hold on? All right. Hold the line, Carla, because we have to go. Me don't know about the Antifa. Me don't know about that. We have to take a quick break. It's getting hot in here. Suzette Speaks Show live every Thursday and Friday from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. We're going to be back with this caller. Don't go anywhere. More Suzette Speaks right after this.
Voice of the Caribbean.
Copyright. I don't want to get copyright.
Construction Homes. The Barrett Group specializes in new construction homes. They work with all the builders in the Port St. Lucie area. They're located at 4977 North Stable 7 in Tamarack. They offer a personal tours of home sites. Schedule at 954-306-8607. That's 954-306-8607. The Barrett Group.
M&J United Auto Sales. No credit, no problem. Easy financing. No social, no problem. Apply online for easy approval approval and finance options. M&J United, your one-stop shop for all your auto needs. Used cars, even special car orders. MJCarsales.com. That's 954-530-9366. 954-530-9366. 3511 Northwest 19th Street, Lauderdale Lake. M&J United Auto Sales is your Caribbean-owned dealership.
The biggest reggae cultural event, Rebel Salute.
It's finally coming to the United States.
Rebel Salute 2025, Sunday, September 28th.
With live performances by
Tony Rebel, Maxi Priest, Queen Africa, Mikey Spice, Louis Culture, Michael Rose, Challenge, Lux,
Rebel Clan, and more Florida-based acts.
Special dope plate showcase by Dynamic.
Taking place at the Miramar Regional Park in Miramar, Florida.
Doors open 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. Get your tickets now at RebelSaluteUSA.com.
Hey, South Florida. Ready for a flavor trip straight to Jamaica without ever leaving home? Donna's Caribbean Restaurant is bringing it hot and authentic. Jerk chicken that'll make you dance. Oxtail slow braised to perfection. Curry goat so rich you'll want seconds. Fresh snapper, homemade soups, and more. Breakfast, we got you. Ackee and saltfish and callaloo. Even banana porridge. Start your morning like you're in the islands. And don't forget Donna's natural juices. Pineapple, ginger, sorrel, coconut water. All natural, no preservatives. Just pure island goodness. With 13 locations open 7 days a week, there's always a Donna's near you. Find the Donna's closest to you at Donna'sCaribbean.com. Bring home the vibes, bring home the flavor for dine-in, takeout, or catering. Donna's Caribbean, a taste of the island. Simply the best.
So go and go tell them with about down low, you must be mad, we couldn't do that. Foundation from birth, here man, a low culture. Say, representing for the voice of the Caribbean, Jamaica and far beyond.
This is WLYFHD2, Miami.
This is your Caribbean station, the voice of the Caribbean. This is the all-new voice of the Caribbean. HD2 Caribbean.
Yes, it is the voice of the Caribbean, and we allow you to have a voice here. Right at this time, I'd like to bring back up my call. I'm so excited. I have a gentleman on the line who was experiencing or expressing himself as far as this Jimmy Kimmel suspension. I was just giving you some detail if you're just joining me on this case. I didn't get a chance to talk about Jimmy Kimmel and why he was suspended yesterday because I had a special guest, and we do a lot of interviews of folks in the community. I'll have one next week. The folks who are in charge of the Hair, Peace, and Hope 5K will be joining me in studio next week, Thursday, talking about a wonderful 5K with an awesome message. So I'll have them in. So sometimes I have to have guests so I don't get to the hot topics. But today is getting hot in here. Suzette Speak Show Live. Again, you can call us with your opinion, 850-446-0562. This is a community program, community square. Right? So you can't come with your opinion, but I want you back it up because I do disagree with this caller. I'm hearing some things that I'm not sure are founded. I want to know what evidence he has, but again, I'll allow you to express yourself. Anyone can call. Just remember that this show is expressing the views of only the host, the guests, and callers, and does not reflect those of the ownership or management. So don't sue me. That's literally the lawyer in me. I have to get that out. Anyway, Carla, may I bring you back in? No. How are you today, sir? May I have to make sure you not get Mikey sued. Hello. So I want you to express what you were telling me. So I was going through the facts as I'm seeing them on ABC News, on NBC, on BBC, all of those things. And you were saying your opinion is that, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, so go ahead and express it, but tell me how you back it up, is that Jimmy Kimmel should have been suspended, and it was rightful that he suspended. taken a little bit of a different position than I have. So that's all right. And I wanted to know why you feel like it was justified. Go ahead, sir.
Now is very divisive. It's literally separating this country. All right. So when you have people out there talking about Hitler and Nazis and all kinds of things like that, it separates the country. You get one side that want to actually extinguish and annihilate and get rid of the Hitler and Nazi people, and then you got the other people that they're just there. They're just going through the politics. They're just going through life on a regular, the way that they normally do. So now this new divisive thing is to call people that you don't agree with Hitler, Nazi, and this and that. And yes, that brings violence. That's what creates violence. You can't do that. And when people, we've been saying this for over a year now, tone down the rhetoric, tone down all. No, what they do is they come right back with it up front. I'm sorry.
So I hear your point and I can hear your passion, and you're saying that you want the rhetoric, and I agree with you on that point. I do want the rhetoric to be toned down. I think in politics it has become us versus them. You're evil, I'm good. I'm good, you're evil. That kind of thing where you're not seeing the next person as a human being, and you're not seeing them as the kind of, we in the same struggle. You trying to pay your bills, I'm trying to pay your bills. I want to save school. I want to save community. I want my tax dollars to be well spent and things like this. I do not want waste. I don't want people to be mistreated or not treated equally under the law. I think we can agree with that. What you say? So, but where I disagree with you now is that although there are many people who I find offensive when they start this vitriol and, like you're saying, this divisive rhetoric, I do think that under our First Amendment, which I was trying to go through earlier, you have the right to speak those things. Now, whether you're going to get fired for it is the next thing, but I do think we have to be careful, because even though there is speech that we cannot stomach, people have the right to express themselves, and the government should not be telling you, you can say this or you cannot say that, and then we get to the point where the government is in control of what we're saying. What do you say to that?
Right with that. But that's why Jimmy Kimmel's not going to jail. What his boss did was wake up that morning and said, fire or suspend him. You see what I'm saying? So just because you have free speech doesn't mean that there's no accountability. There's no, you know what I'm saying? Things aren't going to happen to you just because you have free. Yeah, there's no law that says you're going to go to jail for what you say. But at the end of the day, because you say it, your boss can say, you know what? No more of this. That's it. It's over. We're going to, conclude our relationship. You go about your business and do what you're doing, and we're going to continue doing us.
So I hear what you're saying, that no matter what, you're not free of the consequence of your language. I hear that. And the reason why yeah, man. Wow. Okay. Again, as the attorney in me is cringing a little bit, because this is where we disagree. This is where we. That's dangerous in terms of causing a riot or something like that, or even we agree when it comes to causing a riot because you yell fire in a movie theater. When it comes to a direct death threat, trying to say you're going to kill somebody, of course those things are going to send a different type of alarm and will definitely draw a consequence. So do you think, and I just want to get an idea from your point of view, that Mr. Charlie Kirk was also a person that used hate speech in what he said, or you don't believe that?
The man say, cut off your TV, cut off your computer, cut off your cell phone, come off of social media. If you don't like what he says, Don't listen to him. That's it.
So you're saying Charlie Kirk did not use hate speech.
There was a lot of things that Charlie Kirk said that I didn't like, but I wouldn't want to see him die. I wouldn't want death on the man.
No, there's two different issues there. I agree with you. Let me pause you there. There's two different issues you're talking about. I think as a whole, majority, if not most, everybody in our society thinks that anyone who would take another person's life for what they said is wrong, and violence has no place in our political discourse. I agree with you wholeheartedly on that. But where I kind of diverge from what you're saying is that when you say something that's offensive, it's not protected. You have the right to say something that is offensive to someone else. You do. You're saying, for example, I'm asking you, for example, do you think the same hate, quote unquote, speech that you're talking about, which is protected on the First Amendment, well, except for when it's inciting violence against an individual or in a place that it could take people's, lives, like you would say, calling out fire in a movie theater. But I'm asking you, do you hear any type of rhetoric from the president himself that you would consider violating that type of social decorum or political decorum? Do you think the president partakes in this type of vitriol himself?
So, of course, he's going to have something to say. He's the president. He's going to have something to say. And anything that he says is going to be dissected and torn apart, and they're going to remix it and say that, the mix-up, what we call mix-up in Jamaica. They're just going to mix up what the man said. All right? Of course he's going to have to address these things. He's the president. He's the president of the United States. He's going to have to address things that happen in this country, especially when it comes to people dying. So when the president has something to say, I don't think people should be turning it around and remixing and mix up the man argument. Keep it truthful. Keep it what it is. See, this is another thing that I realize when it comes down to the left. I don't want to pull up any political parties, but I'm realizing this when it comes down to the left. They have a big problem on telling the truth. Them not like the truth. They're allergic to the truth.
So the people on the right, so left, for people who don't know, is Democrat and right is Republican. So you don't think that right after this gentleman unfortunately horrifically lost his life in this unacceptable means, someone who heard what he said, disagreed with what he said, and decided to take his life. We do not agree with that. We stand against political violence. But right after, before they even caught the guy, before they even knew who it was, you had people on the right, including the president, talking about this is a product of what's going on the left before they even understood who the person was. So do you think they sometimes exaggerate or ratchet up the temperature? Tell me what you think.
That's absolutely false. They gave the information as they learned it. So before they found out that this gentleman was a part of Antifa.
He's not a part of Antifa. I have to correct you. I don't see any information on that. Go ahead.
Go and watch the news. Yes, he is. Those phrases that he said on the bullets are actually Antifa.
That's not true.
The song yes, it is. The song that they listen to is Antifa's anthem song. He has that whatever it was.
Where are you getting your information? Just so we can look where you're looking. Where are you getting your information? I'm reading from 5 different articles right now, and I don't see any mention. That's why I'm asking you, where are you getting your info? You can't tell me where you see it.
You live it. You don't have to read it. You live it. You see it on the news every day when Antifa and all of them go protesting and burn down these states and burn down these liberal states. We live it. We see it. We don't have to act like we're done to this. We see it every single day, and it's coming from the left. It's not coming from the right. The right is protesting and burning down cities. It was something that
we just had a protest that was in, I think it was Long Beach, California, of protesters on the right. Let me Google it right now. I just saw it. Tell me what you think, because the people on the right saying protect, white men and white rights and things like that. You didn't see that, right? Go ahead. Because I'm saying I do see from the right. You're telling me you don't see it. Go ahead.
Yeah, I don't see it. This is another thing that I don't like what's going on in the news. The separation of white and black. Oh, the white man this and the white man that. Bro, we're all people. We're all Americans. We're all supposed to stick together. There's nothing that the white man is doing that a black man can't do. There's nothing. We are all here in this whole thing together. So we need to stop saying that. It's good against evil. What happened to Charlie Kirk is evil. That was evil. That was totally, totally evil. And anybody that's celebrating this and anybody that can't just say, you know what, rest in peace to the man. Rest in peace to...
I think you can say that, sir, with disagreement of what he spoke about and what he's his opinions. Okay, so we're on the same page with that. We're saying, so what you just said about unity, I totally agree with. I do think that there are powers that be that thrive and stay in political power, right? They desire control, and they do so by trying to divide us and saying you are A and you're evil, or you're good, or you are B, or you deserve the access to what I'm talking about, which is the ability to express yourself freely, and people choose, like you say, to turn it off or turn it on. I agree with that. I think in the Jimmy Kimmel situation, he has a different role as a kind of comedian. He is supposed to be a social critic. That's what he does. And if comedians, tell me how you feel, if comedians can't do their job and you can be in this job for however long, doing the same thing, poking fun at the news, making things, you know, that are very touchy, something that is digestible for the everyday person, that's a part of what their role is. And for you to do that, and now that the president is upset, or the parent company is saying, you know, they're getting pressure from the FCC in order to not, you know, get in trouble or prevent it from being able to do business the way it needs to, you're going to suspend a person who, again, has the freedom under the First Amendment to say things that are uncomfortable or even offensive to other people.
Yeah. Hello?
Yeah, man, I'm here. Go ahead.
Yeah, so again, what's his name is not going to jail. What he said didn't warrant for him to go to jail. But it warranted for his boss to say, you know what, suspend it. That's it. No more. Remember, this is not from Trump. This is what everybody wants to put up there. Oh, Trump is doing this. It's Trump that said this, and now his boss had to fire him. No. Jimmy Kimmel said what he said on the TV, and the next morning them say no more of this. Cut it off, because again, they've been telling them to cut down the rhetoric, and for some reason, these people saying, no, I'm not going to listen to you, boss. I'm going to do what I want to do. So you do what you want to do. This is the outcome. This is what you get. You play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. And that's what he did. Beyond his boss firing him. He thought he was bigger than his boss firing him. Well, we know that's not the truth.
All right, I have another caller. I appreciate you expressing yourself so eloquently, sir. I don't agree with much of what you said, but I agree with your ability to say it. All right, I'm going to let you go because I want to get in another caller. Thank you for calling, sir. Okay, I appreciate it. Thank you. Next caller, you're live. Good afternoon. Please.
With me, again, I stand by what I say. Nobody should be killed for their belief. Nobody should be killed whether they gay, straight, lean, black, white, Chinese, whether you're racist, whatever you is, whether you love people, whether you're black, white. Nobody should take anything and kill anybody. I don't believe in that. Like people.
Me either.
To kill people. However, I only really and truly was paying attention to Charlie when I heard what happened to him. I didn't know who he was as much as everybody else, because I didn't pay attention to that side of the world. You know, when I hear something that come up on my Facebook that I'm not interested in, I don't like, or I don't like a person saying, I just stroll through. You know, like my mom tells me, right? But if you're a radio announcer, TV anchor, and so forth, and in this time when he has young kids and so forth who might go up and see certain things on the internet and see how people was making fun of his dad's death, or trying to make jokes, or make anything at all of his dad's death, then it will be offensive to those kids, and it's offensive to his parents, and it's offensive to his fans. So Jimmy Kimmel have a responsibility to media, right, to make sure he don't fuel certain things. For instance, when Jimmy Kimmel still write on that, you have plenty other stories that you could write on that Trump is doing out there and so forth. You know that he could go right on a man's death. You know, leave that alone. And with him, yeah, we know a lot of people didn't agree with what he's saying, right? You know what I'm saying? But nobody should be saying, I'm glad he's dead. Nobody should be saying anything funny about his death or even criticizing why even people kill him or even give a reason for him to be killed. Or even say you know what? He deserves it because he said this and
He never said any of those things, though. Just be clear. Jimmy Kimmel never said anything. He actually posted in a tweet how sorry he was and how disgusting that murder was, and that he stood in solidarity with his wife and his family. So he's actually saying the opposite of that. But go ahead.
But you know what my mom always say? Like, for instance, look at us. We ain't have a radio talking about it, and people could go take and say, you know, we said this and say that, right? You know? But let me just say this, though, right? My mom always say, like, if somebody report me to her saying that they see me in a bad company and they do it more than one time, she gonna say to my son, if in a gossip, in near the gossip. So change up that. I think Jimmy was told to change it up and don't draw too much attention to it. Other stuff don't talk about it.
Boy, we have a tough crowd. We don't have any much freedom of speech supporters in this call. I have another caller. Go ahead. Last 30 seconds. Go ahead.
Okay. I'm gonna tell you right now that if we concentrate on what we are doing, you know what I'm saying, and let them concentrate on what I'm doing, we'll be all right. You know?
Wow. So no one is supposed to be able to speak up against any. Ooh.
Saying we need to lift up ourselves and help our community up and say, you see what them build for them thing and talk about unite for them thing and believe for them believe. Let's tell our community about our race first, whatever. Because the race first, they're not racism, but they race first. And we need to start doing our bar, like them have them bar mitzvah. We're supposed to have our things for our young daughters, them when they grow up to and so forth. Our African tradition, we need to do those stuff, and we're not doing it.
All right, caller. May I go ahead to the next caller? Thank you. I appreciate it. Next caller, you're live. This is the Suzette Speak Show. We're talking about the Jimmy Kimmel suspension. If you have an opinion, feel free to call in. 850-446-0562. Caller, good afternoon. Yes, good afternoon. This is the Suzette Speak Show. How are you?
I'm good. How you doing?
Good. Love to hear your opinion. Do you feel that it was right for Jimmy Kimmel to be suspended by ABC for what he said? He basically made a joke about, Trump trying to make Charlie Kirk out to be anything but, and I'm paraphrasing, one of them, so to speak, when he's talking about the president. He was referring to MAGA. He used the word MAGA, and that this shooter was anything but one of them, or they're trying to make it seem like he was anything but one of them. And then he played a clip of Donald Trump being asked about the death of Charlie Kirk, and then Donald Trump quickly pivoted to the building of the White House ballroom, and it didn't seem like it had the impact that people thought it would have on the president. And then, of course, Mr. Jimmy Kimmel came back. You can watch the clip for yourself, folks. I want you to pay attention to this because, again, I started with the discussion about free speech and that even if it's offensive, it is protected, and that the government has no right to tell the press what to do, what to say. And is that what's happening here? I had two callers that seemed like, hey, he said what he felt like it needed to be said. He's paying a price. Sorry to you, Jimmy. That's what it sounds like. What do you say, caller?
They have no clue of what they're talking about.
Explain.
Fortunately, I don't think they even listen to Jimmy Kimmel at all. Everything that he said was correct. Because one of the callers said that the shooter belonged to Activa. What?
I was shocked at that because there's not anything in the record yet. No statement by officials or anything like this. Now, there have been Republican Congress people. I've heard that come from a couple of those elected officials. I'm not going to misquote. Let me Google real fast. However, it did not come from the officials who are investigating anything. They said that his parents were actually registered Republicans from a very conservative family. He comes from a place that is a very, small town values type of vibe. So his whole upbringing reflects more of what is traditional values. But go ahead with your point.
But they trying to make the left the boogeyman because all their news media outlets are saying that the left did this, the left did this, the left did this. When they found out that it wasn't a left person that did this, they have to try and change the narrative now to make this person become leftist. But Jimmy did not say anything wrong about it. If you watch all the news, it's exactly what he said. That's what they're doing. I don't. First of all, the caller said that his boss woke up in the morning and said, let's get rid of him. No. FCC chairperson threatened them right after that. At 1 o'clock, he threatened them. By 5 o'clock, they suspended him because they have a big merger coming up. And matter of fact, it's an illegal merger. But the government is trying to push that through to give an exception. The merger, I think, is like 39% of broadcast company.
Yes, you're talking about the Next Star and the Sinclair merger that's coming up, which has to be approved by the FCC. This is ABC. Go ahead. Yeah, so people have to look it up. We are out of time. 2 minutes. Go ahead.
I know the FCC is backtracking and say they can't. This is illegal for the FCC to say all of this stuff and everything. But it's a pressure that they put to say that it's a threat that they put to say that they would not approve the merger. So ABC act on this already. As soon as they heard that, they act on it, got rid of Jimmy. Now, I heard on the news there's a report on CNN that they're saying that a couple of the bigwigs on ABC said that there was nothing out of the ordinary that Jimmy said. But the pressure from FCC caused them to do what they had to do. This is, if you're cutting down free speech, right, this is what they start with, the comedians.
Yep.
Right? The history shows even when Putin took over Russia back then, the first people that he went to was the comedians. And then he started doing that. And that's what they're doing here. Right? The Republicans have to be careful because everything that they allow to happen now, when the Democrats go in, it could backfire on them.
Well.
And they're not looking at it that way. They're just thinking, listen, I watch both sides of the news all the time. Newsmatch is the worst. But it's like real. If you watch Newsmatch, they're talking about starting a race war right now. A war against the leftists. They're talking about that.
Yeah, that's why I tried to ask the caller where he get his info. Yeah. We have 20 seconds for you. So final word. So do you think they'll bring Jimmy Kimmel back or no?
I think me as a Disney Plus subscriber, I'm going to cancel if they don't bring him back. Oh. We as the people, we have the power to start telling these big companies, if you stop giving into the government like this, we're not going to support you. That's all. That's the way they have to start listening to us.
Thank you, caller. We have to leave it there.
That's what it takes.
Thank you so much. I have to let you go. I'm out of time. Listen, we have a great discussion here, but it has to come to a close. Suzette Speak Show only goes till 2 p.m. Thank you, caller. I appreciate you guys can call anytime. We're going to keep making this a community forum. However you feel, I encourage you to do some more research on different types of platforms, right? Where you get your news from matters. And what we'll do here at the Voice of the Caribbean is continue to bring you information, stories, things that are going to have an impact on things like your First Amendment right. So make sure you look up the Constitution. Yeah, I'm out of time. I hope to see you at the Miss Louise Bennett Coverly event tomorrow. If not, at the Walk 5K in Pompano. Y'all be blessed. Happy Fire Friday.
Voice of the Caribbean.